Every time I reach for this phone, my brain expects a hit, a ping, a feed, a flood of dopamine. Instead, nothing. No apps, no bright red notifications, no instant gratification. I can't really do much with this. But what if that was the point? And weirdly, that nothing is changing my life. Here's everything that's happened since I've switched to the Mudita Kompakt. Hey, it's Paolo, and I make videos about trying to survive in this modern tech-enabled world while working in the tech industry. And apparently, people like when I talk about digital minimalism. So, minimalist phones are undeniably having a bit of a moment this year. There have been lots of new releases, like the Light phone, the Minimal phone, and what I'm gonna talk about today, the Mudita Kompakt. Now, since my flip phone video in 2020, I never thought I'd fully switch full-time. I always thought of this as a bit of a circuit breaker. And as someone who's always worked in tech and have had hobbies that are very tech-enabled, I never thought I'd actually make the switch full-time. That is, until this phone, the Mudita Kompakt. Now, I wasn't really sure what to expect when I switched to this phone. I didn't really expect it to change all of my habits. But a few weeks in, I feel like something's shifted. So let's talk about it. Now, from the unboxing, you can already see how this is a bit different. Inside, the phone is in a cloth pouch. There are meditation cards, a manual, a USB cable, and that's pretty much it. I'm gonna flash the key specs of the screen while we look at this phone. The phone itself has a bit of a soft touch rubbery exterior, and while it is quite small, it is a bit hefty at 160 grams and almost 13 millimeters thick. Now, feature-wise, this is what you're gonna get. It's a phone, of course, so you get calls and texts. And so far the call quality's been okay, like no one's really called out that I am not on a smartphone. SMS works, but we'll get to the keyboard in a bit. You got a basic camera with flash. It's funny because when you take photos on e-ink, you don't really know what it's gonna turn out as, but hey, these are actually pretty good. They have a weather app which is fully functional and pretty good actually compared to a lot of the other more basic stuff here. The alarm works great and it sounds great too. Just listen to it. It has a flashlight and you can do 3 settings. One is like a blend of warm and cool, or you can just go cool or warm like so. This phone also has a sound recorder and it sounds like this. And there are a bunch of other apps. It has a basic e-reader and you can load up your EPUB files or PDF files into it. I've been reading this book right here. I'm not really too much into reading ebooks, but I hear that this is pretty basic compared to some of the other ebook apps out there. There's also a music player. It's pretty old school and basic, and you can load files directly from your computer. There is a calendar app. There isn't any sync functionality, so you'll need to manage your calendar from this device. They have a meditation timer, I guess, for you to be able to use all those meditation cards, notes app, and some other apps like chess. I don't really know how to properly play chess, but if I did, I would really enjoy playing chess here. It also comes with a very, very cool feature that I don't think any other phone has, which is basically a connectivity kill switch. So you can just flick that switch right there and it'll go offline. And this is more offline than airplane mode, like you won't be able to use Wi-Fi or anything like that. There's no browser, no app store, no email. You won't find any of your favorite apps here. And really that's the point, I think. Now for the screen, it's all e-ink. It has its pros and cons. This is the first phone I've had in e-ink. I've had a Kindle before, but you don't really interact with a Kindle as much as you would with a phone. The side effect there is that typing is not a very enjoyable experience. If you're like me and you figured out how to type super fast, like I can type 60 to 80 words per minute on a modern smartphone, this will feel a lot slower. But that's sort of where we get to this question, right? Like, is this slowness a feature or a bug? I think that's for you to decide. In the meantime, let's take a step back and ask ourselves, why does this phone even exist? See, I've come to realize that modern smartphones aren't really tools anymore. Whereas initially we were buying a product to help us live life easier, turns out we were the product all along. Today, smartphones are dopamine dispensers. They are designed to keep us hooked on our screens as long as possible. Billion, trillion-dollar companies have been founded and exist and thrive because of the smartphone. So even if you have things like grayscale, focus modes, just uninstalling apps and the like, they're all kind of tokenistic well-being steps, especially if the smartphone manufacturers make them, because these are all features that pale in comparison to the billions or trillions of dollars being put into figuring out how to actually get you as hooked as possible on your phone. Also, if it's that easy to turn these functions on, it is that easy to turn them off as well. And that's what I've found. See, my problem is that I have ADHD and my brain craves novelty. And smartphones serve it 24/7. But this phone right here, this is basically the opposite of that. See, the first night I got this phone, I had dinner out at a friend's house and I left my smartphone at home for the very first time in what's probably years. I know that's pretty weird to say. And honestly, that was probably the most fun I've had hanging out with friends in a very long time. Good bands, good food, good drinks. No screen to get in the way between me and my friends. I've actually moved most of my social media and a lot of what I was using my smartphone for to an iPad mini, which I'm actually using to read this script right here. Everything's still accessible and performant, but it's really awkward and clunky to just lug this around. It's a lot easier for me to just decide to leave this at home because I ain't gonna put this in my pockets when I'm gonna leave the house. If I know I'll need a camera, I'll bring a camera with me. I have this Lumix G7 that I use for B-roll now. I'm filming this on a DJI Osmo Pocket 3. What that helps me do is take photos and videos without the need or pull to immediately share it to social media. And I think that's where there's a bit of a mindset shift for me when it comes to having a phone like the Mudita Kompakt. It's not really about enjoying the phone itself. It's about enjoying life around you because you're not on your phone as much. Now, of course, there are compromises when it comes to a phone like this. Anything that uses Google Play services will not be supported by this phone in terms of apps. So that means no Google Maps, no Gmail, no YouTube, no Google Pay. You can sideload Android apps. There are a few guides there online that I'll link. It is actually really easy. Like I was able to do it within 15, 20 minutes of just researching how to do it. While the first few days I didn't really install anything because I wanted to test out the pure experience, I eventually installed messaging apps like WhatsApp and Telegram because I do need that to just keep in touch with my friends and family. I'm not going to be that guy who's just not going to be contactable and going to stop interacting with my loved ones. I also had to install a better Maps app. I used Here Maps. This is primarily because the current Maps app installed on it does not have any turn-by-turn navigation, and I kind of need that so I can use it to drive. With this Maps app I installed, it does have a bit of a delay as you can see, but it's still plenty usable. I also installed Perplexity, which is an AI search engine, but the thing is I did not install a web browser because I think that a web browser is really addictive and can be a real time sink. I know for some people that's going to be a no-brainer and a must-have, so it is up to you. At least what I'm telling you here is that you can sideload what you want. For me, a web browser is game over. I don't think I'm going to sideload any more apps aside from this. Everything else I can use my computer or my iPad, so I think I'm going to stick with this for now. Well, now that we know a bit more about the phone, what it can do, what it can't do, let's talk about who this phone is actually for. I don't think this phone is for everyone, and that's perfectly fine. If you already have the willpower, the fortitude to not spend hours on your phone while still keeping the benefits of a modern smartphone, then by all means, just stay on your smartphone. Good on you, but that is not me. Now, given all of my income, both my day job and my hobby income, requires me to stay connected to the internet, I thought switching to this phone full-time would have driven me crazy. I work in a tech company. I maintain an online presence across various channels that require me to post semi-regularly. So I was really nervous at the start that moving to the Mudita Kompakt would compromise or hinder my performance in any way. But so far it hasn't. I think it's actually done the opposite. I think I've realized that I'm a lot more in control of my own time than I initially thought. If something's really urgent at work and I'm not on my computer, someone would call me up on my phone. Otherwise, things can wait. And because of that, I think I actually feel more productive overall. Because I know that I can't cram on my phone on the way to work or on the way home on the train. I just finish all of my work that I need to finish and then shut my laptop off. In terms of personal stuff, I don't need to instantly transfer someone money 99.9% of the time. I can just do it when I get home. It's not the end of the world to bring my wallet with me with an ID and credit cards rather than keep everything in my smartphone. As a content creator, if I want to post or create content, I can do it out of an iPad or a desktop. I don't need to do it all from my phone. And even with this limitation, ironically enough, I just uploaded one of my most successful short form videos the same week that I was testing out this phone. Ultimately, what I've found is once I let go of that need for instant gratification, life just became a bit less frantic for me. I just feel a lot more present and focused, whether it be me going on a hike or going on a cafe date. I'm just there instead of on my phone. I think where people get it wrong with phones like these is that they compare it obviously to a modern smartphone, and it will never match up specs-wise. But I think they're missing the point. This isn't meant to replace a modern smartphone's functionalities. Obviously, modern phones are more powerful, more feature-packed, but this is not what it's trying to do. At the end of the day, this isn't really a review of this phone in isolation. This phone is fine. This phone works like a phone. It's a review of the time I have been able to free up since using this phone instead of a smartphone. And for me, my review of that time is that it has been life-changing. Not everything has to be instant. Not everything has to be urgent. And if it takes doing a bit of a circuit breaker like this to realize that, then maybe this phone is for you. Now, I'll be doing a follow-up video to explain how I have incorporated the Mudita Kompakt to the rest of my everyday carry. So hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out, or it might already be linked somewhere on this screen if it's already there.